Hey, you guys, we are back with another spoonful of encouragement for you this week. I encourage you to remember to be kind, okay? It seems pretty basic and it seems to be a pretty obvious notion, but sometimes people forget. I know that we believe that we individually never forget to be kind, but sometimes emotions run high and flesh rises up, and certain situations cause us to maybe forget that being kind is very, very important. Okay, you never know what people are going through, and you never know how your kind words can leave a lasting impact. I like to say, everyone you meet is an opportunity. If it's the first time you met someone or someone you've interacted with many, many times, you have the unique opportunity with every interaction to leave a beautiful mark, or you can leave a scar, and it's entirely up to you. Okay, it doesn't matter if in the past if you've disagreed, or if in the past you've been so super sweet one time. Unfortunately, people tend to remember the bad times more readily than the good times, but behavior speaks louder than any words. So I encourage you. My dad used to always say, always leave people in a better state than when you found them. Okay, and the Bible says that we are here to be encouragers to each other. We are here to lift each other up and encourage each other, and iron sharpens iron. So let's not lose sight of that. Recently I had dinner with a friend, and I remembered a story that I forgot about, and I'm going to share that with you. And this is through no goodness of my own. This is all God, okay? Because it's without him, I am nothing. So my mom and I went to Puerto Rico some years back, and we flew in to San Miguel, and we stayed in Old San Juan. And I think we were at a Marriott out there. And when we got there, we found out that the power was out in the city. In most of the city in Old San Juan, the power was out. And when we got to the hotel, we were able to check in. There was limited energy due to generators. And so we got there, and there were long lines at the desk, and you can tell every desk person that was available to work was working. We saw like 4 girls. One of them was clearly the manager, and people were lined up, and it was not a great environment. Okay, the tourists were yelling and screaming and fussing, and these poor girls at the desk were doing all that they could. Okay, it's a power outage, and there's no amount of fussing and screaming and complaining to these women who have no power over the power. There's nothing they can really do about it but be the recipients of all of that anger and frustration. Okay, so the line was kind of moving. There were 1 or 2 girls that were checking people in, and the other 2 were really just fielding complaints. It was the manager and 1 girl just taking it. And these poor women, these tourists were giving it to them, and I felt bad. They were demanding fans in a power outage, and the girls were so nice. They were very calmly explaining, ma'am, even if I had a fan to give you, you couldn't plug it in. And it seems so obvious, but and the tourists were ow, and it finally clicked, and then they were still angry and still spewing all this hate and anger at these poor girls, and all they could do was keep checking with the power company. And when the power comes back, the power comes back just like at home. When the power goes out, there's nothing you can do except sit and wait for the power to come back on. So anyways, as we were waiting, the line was really long. We had to wait to get up to check in. I saw the manager on duty. She was a young woman. You can tell she was new. She was getting the business handed to her, and I could see that she was at the end of her rope or chain for being beat up. Like, she didn't look like she was getting ready to like snap back. She looked entirely defeated. So we checked in and went to our room. So I was like, all right, mom, I'm going to be back. And I purposefully left my phone behind, and I went downstairs, and I got back in line. Of course, the line is the same, very long, many people wanting to fuss and complain about no power. Now, mind you, it's July in Puerto Rico, okay? It's hot. It's usually hot on the island, and it's humid, and it's usually humid on the island on a good day, it's the humidity is only like 95%. So it's like 100% humidity. It's July and it's Puerto Rico. It is sweltering in there. So of course, when you add heat, people really uh, go for it. So I am moving forward in line, and one desk girl was like, okay, they're apologizing and they're like, all right, next. And I pointed, can I talk to her? I wanted to talk to the manager on duty. And she was like, sure. And she just told me to scoot over and I would be next to talk to this young lady. So of course I'm watching her get beat up. And she did her best to shake it off and put on her professional smile. And she was like, hi, can I help you? And I was like, may I speak with you privately, please? And she was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then so she had me go like towards the end of the desk, and there was a little doorway. She opened it for me and we went into the back where the offices were. And so she guided me to one of the offices, and she sat down, and she like sat down very professional and put her sitting up straight up and put her hands on her desk. And yes, how can I help you? And I said, I am not here to complain. I just wanted to remove you from that for a moment because I could see that it's taking its toll on you. I would like you to now just take a moment and take a breath and relax. I'm not here to yell. I'm not even mad. And so she looked like the weight of the world lifted off of her shoulders in that moment. And she exhaled and let her entire body slouch down into the chair. And it was comical. I didn't react to that. But you can tell she absolutely needed that breather. She needed that break. And she looked like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so we just sat there for a couple minutes in silence, just let her rest, let her breathe, let her collect herself. And so then she, I guess, realized that she was being a little bit too comfortable. And so then when she sat back, she like unbuttoned her jacket and just flopped down into the chair. And I was happy to see her take that breath. So then after a few minutes went by, she regained her composure and set up, and she was like, okay. She was like, well, thank you, I really needed that, and thank you for being understanding, and went back into manager mode. And she was like, so what brings you to the island? And I told her why we were there. And she was like, oh, what room are you in? So I told her, and we had a standard double room. We didn't have anything super fancy. We did not book this trip. I was there for a different reason. It was a blessing to be able to bring my mom with me. So anyways, it was a standard room, 2 double beds. So she was like, oh, and so she starts typing on the computer. And then she was like, I'm going to change your room. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, I'm going to upgrade you because you're so nice. I was like, oh, I was like, well, thank you. And I wasn't going to tell her don't do it because I wanted to make sure that my mom and myself, but I wanted us to have the best experience possible, And so she did some typing, and then she called in one of the bellmen and gave her, she got a little book and a key card and gave it to him. She told him, take her to her room and change rooms and make sure they have everything they need for their stay. We were in Puerto Rico for like 7 to 10 days. I can't remember. But anyway, so the gentleman takes me to the room where my mom was. I had no idea what room she put us in. So he gets our bags and puts them on this like luggage cart and takes us back to the elevator. And when we get into the elevator, he pulls a key out from his uniform and puts it in there and twists the key and presses the top floor button. And my mom and I looked at each other, and he was like, oh, we're so glad you're our VIP guests and blah, 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 blah. And so he takes us there. So ultimately, this very nice young lady who was the manager on duty at that time, her name was Gladys. I do remember that. She moved us from our standard double room to the governor's suite. And it was beautiful. It was the nicest hotel room I have been in to date. It was absolutely beautiful. It had just so many rooms, a dining room, a TV room, another TV room, like all these bathrooms. It had 5 different balconies, all of them with like doors, like you couldn't even get up there. So anyway, the moral of the story is, being nice. I felt led to go back down there just to give this woman a breather. I didn't know in the moment what I was going to say. I didn't know I was going to ask her if I can go off to the side. I didn't even know there was a to the side. But in the moment, when I was going down, I was like, Lord, just whatever you want me to say, I'll say it. Whatever I can do to breathe a bit of life into this woman and give her some relief, I'm your mouthpiece. So I went down there and all of that happened. And then my mom and I spent our entire trip in this beautiful room. It was no charge. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then of course, I think while we were just getting into the room, I think the guy just left, the power came back on, and it wasn't truly that much of an inconvenience. Okay. We had a wonderful trip. So here's what I'm getting at with this. Be nice. Okay. It cost me nothing, and I gained a much more valuable experience on that trip to Puerto Rico with my mom. We would have had fun in our standard double room, and thank God for simple pleasures, but because you are genuinely nice, not pretending to be nice, not looking for something. I didn't go saying, I know the hotel industry, none of that. I just went to be nice to this woman, and then this is what God laid on her heart to do. So be nice. Be nice without agenda. Be nice just because being nice is the right thing to do, okay? And now, something else that I would like to touch on. We are in the holiday seasons, okay? At this time of the year, people's hearts are hurt and bruised and broken just a little bit easier, okay? People spend time with their families, and something to remember is not everyone has family, and not everyone has a healthy family dynamic, okay? And some people are truly alone and by themselves during this holiday season in these final months of the year. And some people have to go to environments that are not entirely desirable or healthy for their mental health. Okay, so and you don't know that. Many people are very good at concealing things. So please, just to everyone, don't look for the most beat up person you can find. Just make it your business to be genuinely kind to everyone you meet, okay? Because everyone has something going on, okay? Some of us just know how to put on a smile and keep it moving. So please be nice, okay? It sounds very fundamental, and you'd be surprised how often it is forgotten. So that's what I have for you this week. Be kind. God will reward you, okay? Just do things without motives, and God will take care of you, okay? All right, so that's what I have for you this week. We're going to be super nice this week and all week, okay? If you practice something repeatedly, it becomes part of your nature, okay? And if you make it your business to be a kind and happy person to the best of your ability, because things are going on, you will generally have that happy, kind, pleasant to be around demeanor and personality, okay? Now, if you focus on all these troubles and woe is me and I have this going on and this isn't right and blah, 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 that will be your general demeanor, and people pick up on that, especially people with heightened discernment. So we're going to be nice, okay? We're going to be nice at the end of the year, and we're going to be nice all the time, okay? And we're going to do it. Be kind to strangers, and do something nice, and be nice to people who you think can do nothing for you, okay? That's what I have for you this week. We're just going to be nice. It seems easy, and we're going to work on that. If you live in the beautiful state of Washington and you're looking to visit a wonderful church home where you feel the sincere kindness and love of the Lord, do go and visit Pentecostal Covenant Church. We are under the leadership of the loving and wisdom-filled. Our pastor is Bishop W.T. Hairston. He is a wonderful man of God, and he's very consistent and very kind, and he loves God's people, okay? It doesn't get better than that. If you live in the northern part of Illinois, the Chicagoland area, some of the southern suburbs, and if you're looking for a wonderful church home where the Spirit of the Lord rests in that place, do go check out True Deliverance Ministries, okay? Under the leadership of the lovely and anointed and powerful Pastor Fanny M. Cooper. You'll be changed, all right? If you're looking to live right, if you are looking to get closer to God, you just want to be a better person, okay? It's a judgment-free zone, so go check that out if you're in that area. That's what I have for you this week. I encourage you to be kind without motive, be kind without agenda, and I will see you next week, and you all be encouraged in Jesus' name.